One of the most talked about anime in recent memory is a show called Spy X Family, a show that I've heard people tout as the absolute GOAT that came out of nowhere, an amazing show that topped the charts, captured people's hearts and attention, and ultimately everybody was suggesting to everybody. Now, I guess the question is, were they wrong? Spoiler, no, not at all, not even close. It's a very good show, but I would like to temper you on some things that I feel like, because people are saying this is the most incredible, life-changing show you'll ever see, it can ruin your experience. So let me give you a little bit of a setup. But first and foremost, let me explain the premise of this show. Spy X Family is essentially a story about a bunch of unique characters coming together and kind of being a family. One of those characters is Lloyd. Touted as being one of the world's greatest spies, he is set off on a mission to basically win over the favor of some sort of high-profile person. And of course, he needs to go undercover and get a family. So he sets off to do that. Now, along his journey, he ends up finding a tiny girl who can read minds. Yes. And after some time, he eventually meets Yor, a totally normal, actually not assassin. It's just she's an assassin, it's brutal, it's crazy, yes. And essentially, that's the premise. You're just trying to get Anna to basically make friends so that Lloyd can get close to this political figure and stop a coming war. Mind you, this is way, way, way into the distant future. Now, the premise is incredibly interesting, but is it the reason why this show is so beloved? I don't think so. I think what made this show so breathtaking and wonderful is that Spy X Family has a lot of heart. Each character is incredibly endearing, skilled, and at the same time flawed. Lloyd is incredible, reliable, and fantastic, but he also lies a great deal and is fundamentally kind of lying to his entire family, but for a greater good. Yor is this absolute deadly assassin who really struggles with being a mom. Try as she might, she can't always get things right. And alas, Anna. Anna is a kid with a seemingly lot of trauma who's trying to make the most of her new family, who genuinely loves and is connected with all of them. These characters are not perfect, but they're incredible in their own unique way. And I think that's something that Spy X Family does incredibly well, is it talks to this idea of these misfit people coming together, depending on each other, accepting each other, even when they do things that are not perfect. They each have their own problems, situations that they're trying to mend, and when they can, they kind of try to help. This, to me, is something that I think resonates on a human level. This is family. All right, calm down, Vin Diesel. Yeah, family is something that I think everybody innately has an instinct towards wanting. These people that accept you, that love you, they got your back to hell and back. And I think in a medium like anime that has such big swells, some crazy stuff happening, over 9,000 screaming for such a long time, episode after episode, Spy X Family resonates on a grounded level. It doesn't have this crazy huge story, even though I just described it. It doesn't actually capitalize on it in a crazy way. We make strides but never leaps. And it's in that grounded nature to me that the show resonates on such a human level. A simple outing like going to an aquarium can actually be so meaningful and interesting because these characters are incredibly unique, weird, freaky, off, but oh my god, charming. And that is beautiful because they continue to do their best for one another. They're not perfect, and that's okay. And seeing these really unique, weird characters in this kind of somewhat tame and relaxed world is endlessly fun to watch, especially the minutia of family, going out on an outing, having dinner together, talking about school and how it's going, knowing while there are so many underlying threads that keep you engaged. So ultimately, I love the show, and that is plain as day. But one thing I would like to suggest to you is temper your expectations a little bit. Like I said, this show is very grounded. It doesn't have any building orchestra to a giant swell to a crescendo and bah! It doesn't really have that. It's just a nice rock back and forth, a nice motion in the ocean kind of story. There's not much stakes, there's not much anxiety here, so if you crave that within a storytelling metric, you want to feel like, oh my god, my characters could die, this is so intense, how I feel so stressed out right now, this is not the show for you. This show is harmony. It is a hug, it is a warm blanket. It's not trying to rip your hair out. And I think if you accept it as such, you will have a lot better time. Now, with that being said, I will say this show I don't think leans itself too hard to being binged. Because of its nice like hug of a thing, if you got bombarded by hugs for like 3 hours straight, yeah, would not be so enjoyable. But if you had a hug every day, then it'd be great. So I think this show does best when you're actually consuming at least 3 episodes, give or take a day, and then giving it a little bit of time to breathe, and then watching it again. Absolutely watch it, but try to avoid binging it. But alas, Who would enjoy Spy X Family? If you like slice of life, I think you'll love this show. If you like badass moments that are iconic and wonderful, I think you'll like this show. If you like wholesomeness, just warm kindness, family, and people working through their broken parts, you will love this show. Now, if you like a show with stakes and kind of huge anxiety-inducing plot lines, this probably is not the show for you. If you like shonen, zero to hero, a character becoming nothing and then growing into something stronger, not necessarily the show for you. If anything, it's more of a hero to hero. But with all that being said, I think this show is a brilliant example of a show that is kind of made for everybody. That is a show that is hard not to like. It doesn't do anything crazy. It's not trying to break into a different thing. It is just wonderful. It's warm, and especially in a time in our world where I feel like many people crave something that is just kind, warm, and essentially has a lot of heart. That, I think, is Spy X Family, and I think you should damn well give it a chance. Thank you kindly for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Consider subscribing to the channel and maybe checking out this video here. I will always love talking to you guys about shows that I love dear, and I hope you will enjoy hearing about them from time to time. Thank you kindly. Enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye, my friends.